everybody. Wow, did you like that really cool intro song? Oh, I totally forgot about that. We're supposed to be talking about how we got our new intro song out, even though we totally didn't hear it because we're recording this in the studio way. This is after we recorded that intro, but before we, uh,
We can't hear it
yeah,
because we don't have a way of hearing it
and
because that's
editing
all
it
done
in.
post.
Right. So I forgot about that. So, anyways,
Yes, what fresh hell have we done?
okay.
What fresh hell have we created for ourselves right now?
Anyways, hey guys, it's Random Reviewer here, and as always, I'm here with the wonderful, the worst generation.
It's getting worse every day.
And on that happy note, we are here to talk to you about The Wild.
Quite possibly one of the worst things I have ever seen, actually. I don't I have my list of movies that I watch with Connor, and we're up to 68 terrible movies. And I feel like this one actually is lower than the worst movie we've seen.
Yeah, The Wild definitely hurt me in a way I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like fine. I didn't know it was going to be like as bad as it is.
Yeah, no, I vividly remember this movie as a kid. Like I remember it being on like the Disney Channel original movies, and I remember it sort of playing when I was like 7 or 8 years old. But I like didn't remember like how why it was straight to TV.
Yeah, no, and I remember it vaguely too, like being like I remember seeing bits of it and thinking that it was Madagascar and then being like, "Oh, it's not Madagascar." And then just being completely confused of why it existed because it didn't feel like a movie. It's one
Yeah,
of those movies that doesn't actually feel like it should be a movie.
100%. Yeah.
So
Let's tear it apart.
let's tear it apart. Next slide. I'm controlling the next slide.
You are in charge, sir.
So it's The Wild is most certainly and not a ripoff of another movie that came out a year earlier.
A year earlier. 1 year.
1 year earlier.
But they were in concept designs at the same time. Because it took like 5 years for them to do it. And then they both supposedly Disney claims that they created the idea for The Wild 9 years before its release. DreamWorks calls bullshit on that and says, nope, you did not. And so there's a little bit of miscommunication as to when that sort of idea came, but they both were being created around the same time. Madagascar just released earlier.
I really do kind of like to think that this is actually a ripoff of Madagascar because there's a lot of similarities just by looking. Because if you look at the cast with some minor exceptions, they're kind of the same. Like it's
Oh,
almost the same cast. It's
100%.
yeah, so it's just like, oh my gosh, this is bizarre. But Madagascar brought us the penguins of Madagascar,
That's correct.
and it also brought us the TV show. And I will fight tooth and nail in saying that that is one of the best kids' TV shows I have ever seen.
I do vividly remember liking the penguins of Madagascar. So Madagascar and the Wild are something called twin films.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, if you would like to explain that.
Twin films is a term that is used when a film company, I guess it doesn't really fit in this one, but when a film company purposely makes a movie with a similar plot to another company to get grandma confused at the store to buy the movie or just to kind of confuse people in general. I know that the movie White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen, both terrible movies that I haven't seen, are ripping off whichever one came first. The other one is ripping off of it to with a very similar plot. Sometimes it happens by accident, but most of the time it happens because a company's like, I want that idea. I know that two companies did get together for like a burning building movie type thing, but I've forgotten the name of that one right off the bat.
Was it the glass elevator one?
Yeah, it was like the Great Glass Inferno or something really weird. It's got like a bunch of stars and it's two companies getting together and it was just because the director's like this movie's going to be a fucking flop if we don't do that and it's going to ruin both studios because everyone's going to know that we were just ripping off of each other and they were like buying each other's like oh, it was just absurd. So, yeah, a twin film is just any movie that has a very similar premise that comes out at the same time, either on purpose, generally on purpose, to, you know, cause confusion.
So I did a little bit of research into this and I posted it on my Instagram at officially a star as well as on Twitter, and it was a poll of some of the most popular twin films to see which ones you like guys liked better. So between Ants and Bugs Life, two twin films, you guys 78% said they liked Bugs Life better. Between The Wild and Madagascar, 90% liked The Wild better. Sorry, 90% liked just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh,
Gotcha.
God.
90% liked Madagascar better, 10% liked The Wild, and I got a couple people messaging me asking me what The Wild even was.
That seems very reasonable.
That's fair. Between Zootopia and Sing, Zootopia at 67% and Sing at 33%. So there's a little bit more wiggle room as to which anthropomorphized musical you liked better.
Mhm. Are they? I've not seen either. I'm really bad at watching Disney movies. Are they twin films?
So Sing is written by Illumination, which is the same studio that does Despicable Me and the Minion movies. And then Zootopia is a Disney movie.
Okay, so
Well, I think technically a Pixar movie.
but isn't like Zootopia good?
It's really good.
Okay.
So was Sing. They both did really well,
Okay. Okay.
but they're twin films.
Okay. You see, I'm stupid when it comes to Illumination and
You're
other
totally fine.
animated films. I'm a little out of the loop right now.
And then the last one I did was Finding Nemo and Shark Tale.
Oh yes, We should talk about Shark Tale someday.
I really love Shark Tale as well. Finding Nemo came in at 82% and Shark Tale came at 18%. So I do have something to say. Finding Nemo is my absolute most favorite movie. Always has been, probably always will be. But that being said, I do have a special place in my heart for Shark Tale. Like the whale wash, like that is that is a bop. That is my jam. But y'all bet I'm gonna go to bat for Finding Nemo like in a
Yeah.
second.
Well, Finding Nemo's a really well written movie, and while I do enjoy Shark Tale a fair amount, it's not doesn't quite have the same level as Finding Nemo as far as story wise.
Finding Nemo was revolutionary in the idea of 3D animation.
Mhm.
And I mean, they literally created some of the programs like that you see today. Like they started that. I mean, doing underwater up until that point had like not been able to be done. Like even look at Shark Tale. They're not up to the level that Finding Nemo is at.
Yeah, and Finding Nemo is Pixar, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
It's a
of
Pixar like 2002.
Of course, because like that's the time when it's like Pixar's the best movie, like animated movies. Of course, they're going to do, you know, a great job at their animated show.
Yeah. Fun fact: Pixar was founded by. Do you know who it was founded by?
I don't know, but
It was founded by Steve Jobs after he left Apple.
Oh, okay. And then Pixar is, sorry. Oh, Pixar is. I looked over at the slides and saw DreamWorks. I'm like, that's not right. And Pixar's just pretty much just people who were upset with Disney that left, correct? Or is that DreamWorks?
No, I feel like that's DreamWorks because Disney still owns them. Like Pixar was founded by Steve Jobs, and then Disney bought them a couple years later.
Wait, who made Toy Story?
Pixar.
Okay, I think I know. So Pixar, I could be completely wrong. I believe that they were runoffs of Disney that left, and they were more or less bought by Disney within the last, like, because I remember that because that was a big thing. Before Pixar was bought by Disney, Disney was going bankrupt. Well, bankrupt in parentheses, because Pixar was doing so well that they were seen as a real threat, and they were the only real threat to Disney, and Disney didn't know what to do, so they bought Pixar for like an absurd amount.
All I know is that after it got bought. Steve Jobs left it. That was like the
That
extent of my.
that that
I
that,
did
that
not
makes
do
a
a
lot
deep
of
dive on
sense.
Pixar because I
We're-
was supposed to be doing it on not even Madagascar, the wild, which is
yes,
incredibly
yes, which
unfortunate.
we have been avoiding talking about
For the
for.
what minute now?
Yeah. Okay. I guess we should stop talking about much better things than
Oh no.
this movie and talk about the cast and crew of this monstrosity. I mean, again, it's got a lot of famous people. For William Shatner's in this, for God's sakes,
Okay.
and
Patrick Warburton. Let me tell you, okay. This is about you're about to get a random mini rant special here. I am furious, okay? Patrick Warburton is a phenomenal voice actor, okay? And they dragged him into this shit, and I am furious. Also, they dragged my girl Eddie Izzard into this, and I'm also super angry about that. But we're gonna stick with Patrick Warburton for a minute here.
yeah.
First of all, some of you might be saying, "Who is this Patrick Warburton?"
Oh, you know him. You
You know
definitely
who this
know
is.
him.
So for starters, Patrick Warburton is Kevin from the Bee movie. So he's the human boyfriend that gets dumped for the bee.
He's also Kronk
He's
from Emperor's New Groove.
He is. He's Kronk from the Emperor's New Groove. He also plays Lemony Snicket in the new Netflix series of Unfortunate Events.
Okay.
He's Brock Sampson from the Venture Bros. So for some of you older peeps, he is Flynn from Skylanders for some of you young guys. He is David Pudi from Seinfeld for my grandmother. He is Joe Swanson from Family Guy. He was the Tick in The Tick in 2001. And he cameoed in Space Force, the Netflix Steve Carell office style NASA TV shows. He is phenomenal. And he also voiced, as I just found out, he actually was in Buzz Lightyear, the anime TV show, as Ian pointed out earlier today, which I wasn't even aware of.
Yeah. No. Great kids show actually too. So yeah, he's been in a bit of everything, and this is not a good thing.
No, this is not something like, and it's funny because it talks about stuff that he's in on his Wikipedia, and you actually have to go to listed titles to find him being in the wild because he doesn't want to talk about it.
I wouldn't. It's not a good movie. Ah.
I mean, you can barely find the wild on any of these people's websites or Wikipedias. Like, it's really hard.
Well, if I don't, would anyone want to be let anyone know that they were a part of this movie?
Kiefer Sutherland thought he was about to be in a super great Disney movie.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure they didn't tell him who was making it, and they just said, "Here, have it." It's like, yes, my Grammy for animated voice actors.
Yeah, no, definitely. It has a feeling of like all-star cast does not fix your script.
Mm-hmm.
Your jokes still aren't funny, even if they're told by funny people.
Yeah, and that's like you can have. That's like like you can have really great actors, but if the script's really bad, then it's kind of like, well, what's
Yeah.
the point?
I feel like The Wild relied really heavily on having this all-star cast because they were stressed about Madagascar, and they thought, well, we can do better than Ben Stiller.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, okay, so you put Eddie Izzard in there and Patrick Warburton and William Shatner. Sure, you can argue that those are better than Ben Stiller, all combined or not.
Mm-hmm.
But if your script isn't funny, and if your movie doesn't make any sense, your voice actors who aren't even in the movie, like this is all animated, cannot carry it for you.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it is disrespectful to all of them to have been dragged into this project to begin with.
Yeah. No, it's bad.
You can see how much I really love this movie.
Yeah, we both really loved. I would rather watch Caillou again. Caillou was actually funner to watch than this movie. Which leads us to the next part. What the fuck is this movie?
Okay.
Daddy issues, apparently.
Yeah, there's so many daddy issues.
I just want to say I remember being at my dad's house and seeing a couple like the scenes with like the chameleons and the dad telling the son whatever the fucking name is, like, like the truth, and I was like, This is stupid.
Yep.
This isn't funny. This isn't good. This doesn't make sense. Why are they doing things? This is the epitome of things happening.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with all of that. Um, so the whole premise, like the whole reason this whole story kicks off is literally that Ryan, the young cub, feels misunderstood because he can't roar, which is dumb. Okay, sorry. And so then his dad, who is Samson,
Masculinity.
toxic masculinity in Disney movies starting in 2006. Just kidding. It's always been there. We knew that. Um, so Samson is trying to teach him how to roar, and he can't do it. And so it's like this whole thing where it's like, oh, you just can't roar. You're weird. Whatever. Super great parenting moves all around here.
hmm
So Ryan runs away after a hockey match that they had. Ryan runs away. And
Turtle
so,
abuse. Lots of turtle abuse.
oh my God, yes. I can't even.
And
So
then, are we going to talk about any of the side characters, or is
we
that
are.
later? That's later.
We
Okay, I
are.
won't
We're
ruin
gonna
it
talk
then.
about
I.
everybody because
Oh
I am
God,
angry
I
at
don't want it.
I am angry at every single person in this movie, and I have
Yes.
something to say to every single one of them. Ian and I took a personality test recently with some friends. It's called Role Models, and apparently I'm the aggressive one.
Apparently, yeah.
Apparently.
Apparently, I guess I'm not. Anyways,
Comment
yes.
below if you think I'm the aggressive one.
And like that comment if you think I'm the aggressive one.
That's not how that works. Okay. Um. So. So Ryan and Samson's sort of dynamic is that they're
Which one's Ryan again? It's the dad, right?
nope.
It's the kid,
The
right?
kid. Yep.
Okay, and Samson.
Samson's the dad. Samson is Kiefer Sutherland, in case you're wondering.
Cool.
Um,
I needed a reason to dislike him more.
and so, wow, you have a lot of hate for Kiefer Sutherland.
No, I don't. I just mean I need a reason to dislike him. And
Okay.
this is the reason.
And so, Samson is like trying. He's a single lion father, which they don't ever explain. There's never backstory to that, which honestly is fine. Here's a Disney movie that doesn't talk about why there's a missing parent,
Yeah.
but that's fine. Also, there had to be a missing parent though, which is, and
Disney cliche is, am I right?
yeah, you want to talk about daddy issues? We
You
can go all the way back to Walt Disney. You have to start there as to why we understand
wanna
why they
talk
put
about
daddy
daddy
issues.
issues? There's no mommies. What the?
Oh no, Ian. Okay, if you want to, if Disney's been doing this type of thing since like Walt Disney, so we're not going to talk about why it's in the movie. We're going to talk about how that dynamic is stupid. So, first of all, I don't even understand what their problem is. Like, he can't roar, and it's like, yeah, he's a kid, and then also like he has like this pent up angry teenager angst. Also, like, why is he still in the zoo with you? Like, what's the other thing? Like these zookeepers are the stupidest zookeepers I have ever
Yeah, because you
seen.
generally don't let male lions left with their cubs, right? You
Yeah,
have to have like a female there
Yeah,
to.
it's never just one. Like because they'll fight for dominance. Like there should be like a pride. Like there
Mhm.
should be like Ryan should be with a group of lionesses. And I understand if like he's a rescue or something, like that makes sense to me, but he is Samson's actual offspring. Like they talk about it. Like he uses the word like your grandfather lion. Like that's his real offspring. And so he's not adopted, which I was like that's a plausible theory is that he's adopted. He's not.
He's not adopted. Cool. And we don't know his mom. Cool.
And so he shouldn't actually be there. He's definitely old enough that they should have shipped him out to a different zoo or to a different breeding program because we know that he's also a male, so he's not there for Samson.
hmm
And so it's just one of those things where it's like this whole problem, the zookeepers, like this whole problem is irritating because they shouldn't even be together. But I understand that we need the father-son dynamic to get the story rolling.
hmm And it's not really that like incredible of a like as the main story arc, which is Ryan learns to roar.
Yes.
That's a really stupid one. I mean, they try and throw in the twist, which is that Samson doesn't know how to roar,
No, he's not from the wild. He knows how to roar.
Yeah, but he's like afraid to roar when he needs it or
Yeah, there's
whenever.
some weird thing where he has like this anxiety of like, oh, I'm not from the wild, and I'm like, well, you better be faking it. Like, you
Yeah,
could fake this real good right now because we all
but
know you can roar. You showed that in like the
he
beginning of
was
the film.
yeah, he was pissed off at the pedestrians laughing at his son and he roared at them. So it's like obviously like it doesn't really add anything. It's just kind of there.
Yeah. No, it definitely is one of those things where it's like it makes absolutely no sense. Anyways, so that's our first two. That's Ryan and Samson. Those are kind of like our main characters of the story. We kind of follow those two
Can
throughout.
can we talk about how Ryan is just stupid and how he causes this whole movie to happen?
Yes, we can definitely talk about
Which
that.
is he just goes into the green crates and
There was like one rule, like don't go into the green crates, and guess what Ryan did, guys?
and I really can't tell if he did that on purpose or if he was like, I am sad. I need to be emo with my emotions and go into the green crate.
If you look at his hairdo, it definitely does feel like a very angsty teenager type vibe.
Who voiced Ryan too?
I don't remember. Someone I can't remember, but he sounds really squeaky.
He's horrible.
I think we compared him to if you caught our last podcast, we sort of compared him to like the new Caillou with sort of like a like a throat issue. Like,
Yeah, throat issue. Oh god, it was horrible. Anyways, I guess we'll move on to the next slide.
okay, I hate every single bit of this, and here's why. Ian is super excited about this because I've already told him how much I hate this, and he is super duper excited for me to go into it in excruciating detail because I've already talked about how irritated I am with this. And
Hate
no,
that
it's
squirrel.
not the squirrel and the giraffe kissing. It's just the giraffe.
It's just a giraffe.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's break it down.
So like to be honest, like the squirrel actually does whatever his name is. He does actually Benny. He does actually have a purpose in this film. You could write him out of it, all of his 8 lines, but you could.
You could, but he has literally the best line in the entire movie.
Oh yes, which is I forget if something was going on, and it is
He
my
Benny
mother must have drank pool water when she was pregnant with me.
Yeah, the literally the best line in the whole movie. Like Benny, like didn't he saw a chameleon move, and he like it looks like an acid trip. That's like the joke that it's supposed to be like, oh, you're on drugs or whatever. And then Benny says, "Man, my mother really must have drank pool water when she was pregnant with me." And that is the funniest line from the whole movie. In case you were wondering if you want to brave this, what you're looking for.
Yes, and whatever. What's the giraffe's name?
Bridget.
Bridget. There's no point of her being there, is there?
None whatsoever.
I mean, other than being
The female love interest for Benny.
yes.
That is it. That is the only role that she has. And even on her Wikipedia, that's what it says, which irritates me.
Yeah, it's really
She's helpless. She's always needing to be saved. It irritates me. This whole character frustrates me. It's like the one woman you have in this entire movie, mind you, like the only female character, not the only female voice caster, but the only female character is someone who is helpless, has no job, is only there to appease the audience for a squirrel's sex appeal. Like there was a shot of her undercarriage. There was an entire scene devoted to just her undercarriage and Benny looking at it. And then she says, "Eyes up here, squirrel." And I'm like, why did we need to see what the squirrel was looking at? First off. Secondly, like, that's only the first thing. Secondly, they make her stupid. They make it, like, they make her maternal towards Ryan, but not very. So it's like, literally she's in there as like the mom, but without actually being like a badass mom or a cool mom or taking care of it mom. She's just there along to literally keep Benny motivated to keep doing this, and that irritates me.
Mhm.
Also, I'm irritated that Benny kisses her unconsensually in the beginning of the movie. He did not have her permission or her consent for that shit. We do not kiss people without them being okay with that. Clearly, she had denied his advances and then he kissed her. It's different if you're dating someone. It's different if you're secretly, like, if you both know, like, if you're flirting back and forth, if you're both into it. I get it. You know, there was
But
that
not
tension.
in this case.
There's that tension in the office. We all see it between Dwight and Angela. Like, we all know it's there. We know they're going to make out later behind the paper machine. But
Sorry,
here's...
I had the wrong character stuck in my head there when you said the right.
Amazing.
Sorry.
So, So,
Oh my
but
god.
Bridget did not consent, and that bothers me. And then Benny had no repercussions of that whatsoever for the whole movie, and then she gets together with him at the end, even after finding him creepy and alarming the whole time. But it was because like, and that
Cause
bothers me.
story, cause it's got to be like remember Chicken Little? Like at the very end, he's like, "I always found you very attractive," and it was like just kind of like thrown in there at the last, and
Yeah,
it's like that done better, but also so much more worse.
yeah, no, and it makes it feel like as a woman that like if someone keeps pursuing you and giving you unwanted advances in the end you just get together with them. And ladies, listen to me. Do not be a Bridget. Do not be boring. Do not do things with your life and do not get together with Benny, the creepy guy who's been making unwanted advances that you just give into.
Well said.
And so anyways, yeah, just Bridget.
Just
Also Benny is creepy and he's Samson's best friend and he's just creepy.
yeah. Uh I,
Larry and Nigel.
I fucking hate Nigel. I really fucking hate Nigel. Like,
Do you want to talk about why you hate Nigel?
yeah. Okay, so I know Nigel's supposed to be the comic relief. Then what the fuck is Larry supposed to be doing? If Nigel's the comic,
He's the stupid friend? I don't know.
yeah, I honestly feel like out of all the characters, I like Larry the most because he's the least offensive and he's just very out there.
Also, Larry's kind of like all of Larry only gets one-liners and he uses them well. Like,
Yeah, he's just kind of nice and like Nigel like I don't know what the fuck his character arc is and what they're trying to do with him because there's the scene where like near the in the middle where the wildebeest are like you're our god or whatever and like there's that moment where you look at him and he's like oh and like you think he's going to be the villain and I'm like okay if they make him the villain that's cool
yeah,
and they
definitely.
don't and he's just annoying he just
Yeah.
complains.
Yep. And also Nigel like the whole movie just kind of complains the whole time. And he's also like British. I could understand being Australian maybe, but he even talks about being from London. It's like there are not koalas in London. And they just like never go over that again. Like he's from the streets of London. They just like never go over that again. It's like
Yeah.
that's not where you're from. Also, Larry the Snake tries to be really helpful, which I appreciate.
He might be dumb, but he's likable
Yeah.
and he like he's funny. Like there's the whole bit where like there's the emotional scene or supposed to be emotional scene between Samson and Ryan and like Ryan walks away and is like I'm, leaving you and then like Larry's like bye, have a nice day. Oh,
Yeah.
and then there was the bit where he's leaving forever because he gets on the truck and everyone's like, "No, he can't leave." And he's like, "Bye, we'll never see you again. Have fun."
Oh my god, yeah.
And it's like that's way better.
Yeah, no, like Larry is written way better than Nigel is, and Nigel's supposed to be like the comedic relief and he's just not. Larry's supposed to like I don't know, be like the dumb friend or like the off-putting friend, I guess, but he's way better than Nigel.
Yeah.
Also, I want to talk about these toys really quick. These are the Disney McDonald's Happy Meal toys.
Oh god.
Okay, so the one on the bottom left, the koala. If you went through my toy box right now, I promise you I probably have one. Like I vividly remember that and I vividly remember stepping on that and crying for a long time because it's like but I remember that it was cool. It was one of those toys cuz this is like 2000 this is 2006, guys. And you would put it
I was 7.
and and you would put it on like the table and then you would pull it backwards and then it would shoot forwards because like you would
Because that's what he does in the movie.
I hate you. Okay. And he would like just roll forward and anyways that's what they all did. You would pull it back and they would roll forward. Madagascar also had toys and they were just like the figurines and they kind of did the same thing. That was like the style. When the second and third Madagascar movies came out, they had made toys that like you could shoot things at with them or you could like decorate them. but this was just sort of like the style of the time. But I wanted to put those toys in there because I actually remember having that toy.
Doesn't the top right, uh, that snake?
Mm-hmm.
I think they just reused the model for the Jungle Book.
Yeah, they probably did. I mean,
Yeah,
at least they're stealing shit from themselves, but
yeah. Good job, McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I would not be surprised at all. And also, Larry's supposed to be an anaconda. In case you guys were wondering, that's what he's supposed to be. To scale, I'm not really sure. I think he should be bigger than what he's portrayed as in the movie, but it's really confusing because in some scenes he's definitely bigger, and in other scenes he's like smaller to fit in.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And so I'm not 100% sure what his actual size is. Um, and also, if you kind of look at the feet, you can't really see any in this slide, but like you can see his hand on his ear. They're weird.
Yeah.
It's like that uncanny. It's the uncanny valley of like almost normal but not. And it just makes you kind of feel uncomfortable, and you're like, and you don't really like looking at it, and like I think about that. But Larry's the only character that doesn't have something weird with like that, except for Bridget, because she has hooves. But everybody else has like these weird like they almost look like furry hands.
Hand paws.
Yeah,
They're just kind of weird. I mean, it looks better. I guess like that's something we haven't talked about is the art style in this is a lot more realistic than say Madagascar.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
It's
Madagascar, yeah, and Madagascar, like you don't think about the hooves and you don't think about the hands because they're cartoon animals and it works well.
Mm-hmm.
Not in this.
Yeah. No. It's too lifelike to and gritty and real to feel like animated, but you will know it's animated, so then it also like it just looks super weird. A lot of people have this same problem with like Avatar with the blue people, not the Last Airbender. Thank you. I knew there was gonna be a comment. No.
Can't wait for the sequel.
Oh my god, me too. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
We just have to wait 25 more years before it
Shut
comes out.
I am so hopeful. Okay, don't ruin this for
It's
me.
coming out in a year now.
Yeah, it's coming out in a year now. I am so hopeful, okay? There is going to be underwater cinematography, okay? I am so ready for this.
Aren't there 5 films lined up? 3 films?
Yeah,
for-
I probably won't make it. Like, my grandkids will get to see the 5th Avatar, and I won't, but that'll be fine.
It'll
But
be-
I want to see the second one. Like, the
It'll
third
be-
one, I'm pretty sure that they must go to space or something. But, like...
Yeah. It's going to be another Incredibles 2 moment.
It's gonna be... Oh, yes.
We'll talk about that later.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, we actually do need to do this. We need to actually talk about this goddamn fucking movie. Okay.
Ian, when we first... When the Worst Generation and I pulled out The Wild to watch, we both looked at it for a long time. I think it took us like 3 hours to actually sit down and watch it. But like 20 minutes leading up to it, we both sort of sat there and I was like, we haven't told anyone we're doing this podcast. And he goes, I haven't told anyone. And I was like, I haven't told anyone. And I was like, we could switch the movie and nobody would ever have to know.
And we were talking about The Princess Bride.
We were trying. We should just switch to The Princess Bride. You know, it's a classic.
And then I had to say, no, we should do it. Because I thought, you know what? We might as well do it now while we still have the chance. And I wish that we did a French Caillou.
I know. I'm sitting here and I'm like, this was a terrible decision. We should have just done French Caillou.
Okay, next slide. Oh, we're going back now. we're going to talk about the movie a bit more. So,
Ian. Previews. Spoiler alert.
So, oh gosh. So, I wish I could tell you what the plot was, but it's just stupid.
It's not, and they're not even trying to get home. Like that's the thing is that Madagascar, there's
They're trying to get home.
They've
already got the way home.
Yeah.
They have that tugboat that is able to
Yeah.
go from
Also,
New
there's a
York.
volcano erupting on the island. That's the other part that I totally forgot about.
Yeah, there's a volcano erupting. They've got a tugboat that is magic.
Oh yeah, the tugboat's magic.
Because it can go from
New York to Africa. This is supposed to be. That's the other thing is that in the Wikipedia it says that they went to Africa, and if you look at it, I'm like, you could tell me that's Madagascar and I'd believe you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's just a different part of Madagascar.
You know, I really liked The Worst Generation had a really great theory that it was Madagascar was shot on one side and then the wild
Yeah.
was shot on the other, and so that's like where all the weirdness is coming from. All the good animals went to the Madagascar filming instead.
Yeah, all the good ones.
That's why all the lemurs showed up in Madagascar, because they're like, I'm not dealing with that wild shit. Absolutely not.
They saw Ryan and went, "Fuck that."
they were like, the way that's rendered. Oh fuck no.
Yeah.
It's gonna. You think?
Okay, I guess we will. Oh.
Okay, you know what, Ian? Who did the fan fiction this week? Okay, who actually had to read some of that?
You did.
That's right.
You did.
Y'all can. There's a GoFundMe link below. It'll be to my therapy. Thanks. Okay, so the first one.
I know what that link's gonna lead to. You'll see.
Uh-huh.
But yes, go click on Ashley's therapy link. That will
Please,
be in the back.
please click on my GoFundMe. I feel like now that I'm leaving Ian up with editing tonight, and I'm like, this one might have been the wrong video to do that with, but we'll find out. Okay, so the first one, that is the actual picture that I screen grabbed from the Wattpad fan fiction. That is the picture they used.
This?
That.
Oh my god.
That right there is the one they actually used. I grabbed it straight from there. You have to dig deep. It was posted in like 2006, 2007 when the movie came out. But it is a Pokemon and the Wild fan fiction following the adventures of Ash with his Pokemon companion Ryan and their friends Samson, Benny, Bridget, Larry, and Nigel.
I really want to read the fan fiction with like Sonic and Garfield set in World War II, like comparatively.
Anyways, stay tuned for I random review Sonic and Garfield in World War II comparatively with the Worst
I think
Generation.
it fights the Russians. We'll have to ask Stevie about it.
Um,
Stevie, if you're listening to this, please send me the link to that fan fiction without telling me. Just send me the link. Send it to both of us. Anyways,
Oh wait, I did not consent.
do it.
Okay.
Pull a Bridget.
No. Worst Generation. Absolutely not. Listen to me. Bridget. No.
Okay, sorry. Anyways,
No, that is not okay.
I apologize.
The last fan fiction is a Viper from Kung Fu Panda and Larry from the Wild, a romantic lemony fan fiction, and that is all you need to know about it, and that's it. I read the one on the right is the Wild reimagined with like as the Powerpuff Girls.
My favorite. I love all six of my favorite Powerpuff Girls.
When I have kids, I'm gonna tell them this is what the Powerpuff Girls was.
I love all six Powerpuff Girls. Look, there's the slightly different red one, there's the slightly different green one, and there's the slightly different blue one.
You know, that's. I don't have a good response to that one. You'll just have to. Anyways, keep tuned for Parenting with Random 101. Don't ask me for parenting advice. I will ruin your kids.
Ask
Okay.
me for parenting advice.
You probably don't want to do that one either.
You should do it anyways.
Okay. Anyways, that's at the last generation
At
7.
the worst generation.
At the worst generation.
7.
We're the.
Oh
You're gonna be-
God. We're losing it. Okay.
We're
Next
so-
slide.
Yes. I am ready.
Wait, can I just say I
I'm
really
so-
admire the stock photo
That's the
on the left with all the stock photo, and like I know that stock photo company did not get permission from Disney to use that, but they still had the gall to put their name all over it. Disney's gonna find that.
It's the only one you can find of the dancing pigeons.
Disney's
I
gonna
looked so
find-
hard.
Disney's gonna find it, and they're gonna look at this, and they're gonna be like, I wonder who do we sue? I wonder. Look at the. Oh God. These are the worst parts of the movie.
Are y'all ready for a random rant? That's what these segments are going to be called when I get
Random
real.
rant. I'll put some text on the screen, or maybe I won't. I'm editing this.
Okay, Disney. Let's talk about racism. Now you're not surprised to be sitting here, Mr. Disney, because we're all assuming that because we know your toxic masculinity, and also,
I don't think he's sitting here. I think his head's just on the table.
yeah, I had places to go, things to do. I couldn't get him for an interview. It's fine. So,
his head's slowly melting. We have to hurry on this one.
hey, you know what? I think that Cairo freeze thing is a joke anyways, but I don't think any of that works. But you have a lot of shit to answer too. Okay, let's dive in. Firstly, I want to get this out of the way. I could not confirm whether or not the alligator voice actors were from New York or not. I do want to say that so the alligators in the movie use a very heavy Brooklyn accent, and there's a couple like definitely jokes about like Jewish people, and it can come off as anti-Semitic. I will say I could not confirm whether or not they were actually from New York or were actually or Jewish, because I feel like I couldn't find any information on that, so I'm not 100% sure. If they are, then I apologize by calling you anti-Semitic and racist. Even though they do fit the area in a sense, because they're supposed to be in Brooklyn right now, but I still feel like that's anti-Semitic to have it the way that they did it. But if you are Jewish, then I apologize. You're allowed to say whatever you want about your own religion. Okay, the other one that I'm really upset about is the pigeons. Okay.
The pigeons.
The pigeons.
I was so fucking confused. I just want to say I was so fucking confused when it came on because I was just like, what the fuck is this?
Okay. So let's talk for a second about Disney racism. So Disney has been racist since the beginning of time. Once upon a time Disney was racist. We're aware. This started in Snow White and has gone on since. So Disney has started putting, those disclaimers, which I appreciate. I appreciate them saying, "Hey, during this time period, this what we thought differently. It's not cool." And like recently, they just came out and put all that stuff on the Muppets, which I appreciate. The Wild doesn't have one, and that bothers me because of the pigeon scene. And so the pigeons they're supposed to be Indian. So, and the guy who voices them is not Indian American. He's not of Indian descent. It's a white guy, and uses a very thick Indian accent, and it's fake, and it's supposed to be funny, and it's actually incredibly offensive and harmful. Also, it's supposed to represent a slum lord's den. That's kind of what it's supposed to represent with the dancers and like his like slave pigeons, which is also incredibly offensive to Indian culture because it's not all just slums. And actually, Hollywood has also been critiqued of this very recently in The Avengers, for example, with Scarlett Johansson going to see the Hulk in a slum in India, and they're like, that's incredibly offensive because everyone thinks that India's all slums, including in that new Chris Hemsworth Netflix movie. I don't remember. It's like an action film, and they use a yellow tent to make everything look sort of dirty in India. It's incredibly offensive. So this is kind of how the pigeons sort of work out. It portrays Indians as crazy, uncoordinated, and gross, and with gambling problems and not understanding because of the game he's playing is a gambling game with ladybugs and dice. And so it's incredibly offensive. It is and it definitely did not age well. And then I was talking with the Worst Generation about it, and I was like, hang on a second. In 2006, you knew this was bad.
Yeah, like they knew better when this came out, and they still did it. And it feels old and dated when it's there, and it was old and dated when it happened.
Yeah,
so, like,
no, for sure.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could say that the alligator scene is more forgivable. It at least makes sense in my head because they're in fucking Brooklyn, and that's my big thing. I just can't.
It is incredibly offensive. I mean, Disney, and I have to like remind myself that this is the company that remade Mulan so they wouldn't lose the rights to it, and then said, we're not going to be racist, so we're going to take the songs out. And I was like, I can get down with that. And then made it racist and totally like and all that. And I'm so angry because they used Uyghurs to like create that movie. And there's a whole thing. John Oliver has a whole thing about it on HBO. You can go and hear about it. But it's like they used manual labor and literally concentration camps that are happening in China, like to make Mulan, and they made it racist. And I'm like, well, obviously Disney does not give a fuck, just like out there about any of it. And I'm like, well, if you were going to be racist, you might as well put the freaking songs back in so I can defeat the Huns. Thank you.
Yeah, there's also I will link the John Oliver. It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, there's a
John
Oliver.
Oliver. I will also link an incredibly lengthy video essay on why removing the music from Mulan ruined it. Kind of going on about all that, and then I will also link a video. I forget who it is, kind of going over how hurtful the racism in there is.
Yeah.
So look into links. Those will be right below um, Random's GoFundMe for
Oh God,
therapy.
I am actually super worried about what you're gonna put there. I'm like, it's gonna be something really scary.
Hmm.
Mom, don't click that link.
Do we need this? Why did you put William Shatner in the middle?
So because I felt like
I,
because this was my hating everything page, and I knew that you needed to have a moment, so I was gonna let you have one.
to say how much I hate.
William Shatner.
Yes. I don't like William Shatner on the best of days, and this movie doesn't help that. Um, it's I don't have much to say that hasn't already been said, but he does not add much. He he's just there. He's just really bad. He didn't need to be there. I wanted to hear Patrick more, in all honesty.
Yeah, I feel like Patrick Warburton only had like 3 lines, and they made him really stupid. Anyways, I've already done a whole why I'm super angry about Patrick Warburton.
You see, what would be better is so Patrick Warburton's character is the one that's saved by the koala,
Yeah.
and then when the koala comes, um, then the koala is the bad guy, and that makes a way better movie because then the koala is the one doing all this, and then like he'll have I
And
don't
then
know
and then
hero.
Patrick Warburton is Kronk again, except it's to a koala.
Yes, and then he has a moment where he becomes the good guy and he fights the koala again, or
Absolutely.
Nigel.
Yeah.
That makes the movie way better.
Yeah, no,
That's a
definitely.
much better movie.
Also, we should make it so that the volcano is not exploding, because that is an added element of tension that we all literally forgot about. Like, it was supposed to
It
add
was
tension.
happening and we forgot about it.
Yeah,
Like
no.
everything was falling and we forgot about it. And then we also have to talk about all the Lion King stuff in the background, like on
Yeah,
Broadway, which I guess at like 12 o'clock in the middle of the one of the biggest fucking cities in the U.S. is just empty,
yeah, there's nothing there.
except for some dogs. There's no traffic even, because
There was
that's
like dogs with rabies, apparently.
yeah. So there's a lot of things wrong with this movie, and nothing makes sense. I really thought that in the scene where they're walking around New York City, I really thought that the lion that Samson was gonna say, "Oh, I'm not going to roar because I don't want to wake up everyone because you're in a fucking city, and I'm pretty sure that if there's no one on Broadway, they're all gonna hear a fucking lion roar."
Yeah, no, I definitely had this thought where I was like, the worst generation pointed out to me where he was like, "There's nobody there," and I was like, "Wow, you're right." And like, I mean, by the way that the zoo made it seem like it was like a Friday night or something, because everybody clocked out to go home. There was like everybody was leaving. The zoo was going to be closed the next day, and I was like, "Oh, it must be a weekend." So you mean to tell me on a weekend that absolutely nobody was on Broadway with The Lion King? That is that is Disney burning themselves. Like they dissed themselves on that.
New York's a small town. You're lucky if a bar stays open past 8.
No, but if you go in the sewers, you will definitely find 2 alligators that are
Oh,
anti-Semitic.
yes. Yes.
Unless you're Jewish, then I apologize
To the alligators.
to the alligators. But
Next.
I really doubt it, knowing Disney. Like, I really doubt it.
It's just one of their 3 voice actors that they have.
Yeah.
Um, is that it? Is this really it?
We might have made it.
We might have made it. Is that it? I'm clicking the button. I think we may have made it. Did we really make it?
Wow. You know what? Vote for us in the streamies for made it through the worst movie ever.
Yes. I don't know if we've I
We
know
don't
that's a
qualify for a
cliche.
streamer.
What?
We don't qualify for a streamy, but that's fine.
Stream. We should stream someday. We'll
that.
stream something.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm understanding. It's fine. I don't care anymore. We just
Streamy
made it.
is the podcast awards.
Oh, that is?
Yeah, it's called the Streamies or
You
like
know, I
YouTube.
know a lot about podcasts. You know, I listen to one.
Is it ours?
I listen to two.
Ew. Okay. Plot twist: the worst generation doesn't listen to our own podcast.
I do listen to our podcast, just not every day. Yeah.
I do listen to our podcast every day. But that's always because I'm taking notes on what to do for our next one. It's because I'm making us better, not because I'm obsessive. It's fine, guys. Also,
Gotta
please
get that view count.
also, shut up. Also, please remember to note whether or not who's the aggressive one.
Yes. Remember to
For
comment
Colin
if
for
Ashley
asking
is
for-
aggressive, and then to like that comment if I'm the
Yeah.
aggressive one.
Yeah, that is not. No.
I think. God, did we really make it through? I feel like that's. I don't want to talk about this movie anymore.
Yeah,
I want to
no.
forget about this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Subscribe to Random Reviewer.
Subscribe to the Worst Generation.
I think that's it. Is that it?
Really quickly, I want to say that our intro was written by the Worst Generation and performed by both the Worst Generation and I. The Worst Generation did significantly more work than I did.
Oh, you played a guitar.
I played a guitar. That's right.
Tuned to Open G.
Hey, I played it. It was cool.
Yeah.
And so, also, if you're interested in looking at what that looks like, you can go to Twitter at randomreviewer6 and look at some of our photos of us in our studio recording and
Yeah.
practicing for that. So that was super fun. We'll be using the intro from now on.
So
Also, please remember to submit your artwork for subscribe to Random Reviewer and the Worst Generation.
don't send it to Random Reviewer. Do not send it to me because I might forget to forward that to
Yeah,
her.
remember to send it to at randomreviewer6 on Twitter.
And while you're there, subscribe to The Worst Generation at The Worst Genre 7. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Worst Generation.
Yeah, you can see it in my checkout cool peeps below, my featured channels. Also, The Worst Generation should hopefully be releasing another video soon, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, probably tomorrow.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that's all we've got for today. So
Thank God. How do I stop this? I always love leaving this bit where it stops and you see OBS and then all of a sudden it just stops